What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Expand with Omar, co-host JP, and we have our second guest on our podcast, which is, I've known this person for quite some time. She is everything insurance, and she definitely has helped me scale my portfolio. She's helped a lot of other investors as well to save money on insurance when you're buying all these investment properties. And guys, we are talking about real estate investing. We're talking about anything that has to do with real estate, to be able to actually make some money, save some money where you need to, so you can in essence use that money for other investment properties that you choose to buy. So all these people, all the guests that are going to be coming on our show are going to help you in some way or form. You just got to pay attention and make sure that you take some notes too. Or if you're listening in a car, great. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like it, make sure you follow it, and follow us, myself, JP, and our new guest that is going to be explaining on what she's been doing the last 15, 20 years in the insurance field. So let's get started, and welcome back to Expand with Omar. Let's go. All right, ready to rock?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. Okay. Welcome, Amber Schwing. 15?
So, Amber, I do, from what I know, is you help Omar with his investment portfolio, insure a lot of his properties, correct?
Yes.
This is perfect because I have no idea what you do.
Zero clue.
Yeah, if you're like, let's just say you just got into an Uber and the Uber driver's like, hey, what do you do? What's your 5-minute pitch to that Uber driver?
What you did. Let's go. All right.
So we are your one-stop shop. We offer everything from assault, auto, commercial. The one thing that we specialize in is the investment properties, real estate investors. We have special products geared towards the needs of investors. We have lots of knowledge and expertise in that field.
Okay.
How long have you been in?
So we have been in business for almost 20 years. We have over 30 years experience. I've been helping Omar pull out I want to say 16 years since. It was before my daughter was born, so.
Yeah, Savannah was, she was born too. She's 16, so that is kind of when we started.
Watched him grow for all one.
Business too.
Yeah, I have 3 princesses.
Girl dad.
No, I met your properties. That's so princess.
Oh,
I've
heard of it. 3. So yeah, 3 princesses, 40-some doors. Yeah, so it's crazy. Yeah, that's hard stuff.
One, get into insurance.
Well,
Yeah, I had some questions too, so go over.
And what was that initial step? Because obviously, we're constantly taught, do what you love, chase your passion. What type of passion do you pull out of insurance?
So believe it or not, initially it wasn't insurance. I was going to school to be an architect. Yes. And I kind of stumbled upon it because of my mom. So she opened up her own agency, and at some point she started busting at the seams. She's the one that started helping investors. That was her main niche. And she asked me to come aboard. She basically said, come take it over, or I can't do it anymore. But, she was
down the shop.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I kind of stumbled upon it, and then I ended up just really loving it. I love helping people save money. I love educating them. You don't come across very many ethical companies that care about their clients. And I have a team that...
That's an awesome team too that always helps out. Yeah. That always takes care of. I have Brittany always freaking emailing me about this and about that, which is cool. So now let me ask you this. What keeps you motivated to stay in this business or in insurance? Because there's a lot of competition. If you guys don't know about insurance, there's a shitload of competition out there. So how does someone that wants to learn more about insurance, or because honestly, I wanted to be an insurance agent for a long time because of the residual. Okay, that's gets right there. That right there, the residual aspect of it. Sure, you can have real estate properties and we create the cash flow, right? But the residual aspect of every single year, your insurance would get bonded by your, by the loan, right? If you have an inbound account. So every single year, you're getting a new check. You're getting a new check. And I see so many insurance agents, well, not so many, but I know a few that actually do phenomenal on the residual side of it because they develop their book of business. You're in that category because if you guys saw my freaking insurance bill every year for all the properties, she makes a cut of that. And I'm just one client. She represents a lot of other investors and then normal mom and pop shops too, or normal mom and pop people that need the insurance aspect of it just to make sure that that impound account is good. So what keeps you motivated in an environment and an industry that there's a lot of competition?
Definitely, there is a lot of competition out there, but I feel like as far as my company goes and my employee goes, we kind of set the bar higher. We strive on customer service.
For sure.
At the end of the day, insurance is a hot mess right now, especially for California. Multiple carriers are pulling out.
And I know this too.
Yeah. But, we do our best to come up with solutions.
Creativity.
Yes. And at the end of the day, I do love it. I think that that's what keeps me motivated. My team is amazing. They keep me motivated. They have families, and at the end of the day, I know I have to keep going.
Right.
It's definitely been a struggle. The last, I would say 3 years, it just keeps more obstacles come up. Right. Like I said, many carriers are pulling out of California completely. The ones that are tightening up their straps, as you know, underwriting.
They're getting more expensive.
They're raising rates.
As carriers, are you referring to like different companies?
Yes. So we're a broker. We're appointed with multiple carriers. And like I said, some of these carriers, they're either having rate increases just to survive. We went through some fires, and that's kind of what started the snowball effect. Mm-hmm. And now it's people texting and driving. There's lots of accidents that way.
So this is just from my own, I guess you could say, subconscious belief. Is it the insurance business you love, or do you love doing it in a way that most people aren't able to because of their poor ethics and core values?
I would say both. Okay. Like I said, ethically, I feel that we bring something to the table that others cannot.
For sure. I can see that.
Yeah. I train my employees the way that I feel. Mm-hmm. We deliver a certain sort of customer service.
Value.
And we think of our clients as family, just like I think of my employees as family. And so we kind of bring that to the table, and we're able to do really great things for our clients.
And there's one thing, there is that saying that you get what you pay for, 100%. Like, I want service, I want, immediate responses, and that's somebody that, I think majority of people, even if you have your own, because this is the thing, you won't know what kind of person or what kind of company or what kind of policy they have in place until something happens to you. If you get a flood, a tree falls on your house, you get people breaking into it, and then that's when you're going to see what kind of quality your insurance agent brings or the company that you choose. I've been on the other side with insurance, claims, and it's fucking a nightmare. It's literally a nightmare when it comes to like, okay, I had this happen with another insurance carrier. It starts with an A, ends with an E. You can fill in the blank. And by the way, it was like just brutal. So, and now being with you for the last 16 years, in this in this real estate investing journey, I think literally, because I'm different. I don't like to ask for or file any claims. I think I've filed 2 or 3 maybe 4 in my 16 years of owning property or more. And just recently, what happened? Like the last 2 weeks, I got 2 claims because of a flood, because of this. But this is where, when something like this happens, you want the person or you want the company to support you. And this is why she's on our show. This is why she's here, because I value her and her company because of how seamless it always is when it comes to, paying the bills. Actually, I'll take that back. for the claim aspect of it, because when you deal with a lot of properties, you will deal with a lot of, obstacles. So that's one thing that I want to share with everybody, that, you're here for this reason, because you make my life easier. And I want to make sure that everybody sees that, hey, you guys, your life can be easier too. Make sure that you use Vineyard Insurance, period, because they will help you through the whole path. Now, I know that you've been doing this for how long now? Because I don't think you answered that.
In at least 17, 18 years.
Wow, okay, 17, 18 years. You spent definitely more than 10,000 hours on this career. And you know what they do say? The person who spends 10,000 hours on a specific, description of a job or or your career path, you become a professional. You become someone that's expert in this field. Now, being that you're an expert in the field, what kind of advice would you give somebody that wants to learn how to be an insurance agent for the long haul? Because it's like us, JP and I, we talk about this all the time about real estate agents. People just want to be in real estate just to create quick cash. And then they jump out, 7, 8 years when shit gets hard. Or they stay in that same field and then never invest any of their fucking money. Serious. And I see this all the time. So what kind of advice would you be able to give somebody that wants to be in the insurance field?
Buckle up.
Oh, you hear that, Karen?
So it is a great business to be in. You got to roll with the punches.
Okay.
Right now, it's just like the real estate market. It's going to be a hard time to jump into it. We're going to have some patience, a plan.
Describe that plan, because I want people to hear this. What kind of plan do you need to have if you're an insurance agent?
Well, you're not going to get rich overnight being an insurance agent.
Okay. You don't get big checks right away?
No.
No.
So just think of it, if, you are only going to make a certain percent
Okay.
of
the premium?
the premium.
Okay.
On average, let's just say you're finding a homeowner's policy for $500. That's the premium. You only make a percentage off of that. So let's just go with 10%. That's $50.
$50.
Now, if you have overhead, now you're paying your overhead. There's lots of overhead costs that go into it. So like I said,
Lunch on a Thursday.
Bro, seriously, bro.
so you're going to need to acquire lots of clients. You're going to have to...
It's really about building a network. Right?
Yes. Relationship.
What I always like to, I guess you could say, refer to is like, if I'm speaking to, like, let's just say a new real estate agent, I would tell them for the first 6 months, you need to go lock arms with a high producer and go get on the phones for that high producer and let them know that you want to generate leads for them. Those are action steps that I can give a real estate agent to go apply. What are like 3 action steps that you would give to a new insurance agent that they can actually apply?
So I always tell my new agents to start within their own network, friends and family, social media. You definitely want to start there to build your book of business. If you do a good job and you know what you're doing and you're knowledgeable and you've been trained properly, you can build off of that because, let's just say for instance, yes, you've built that relationship and that network, and now they're going to refer you to their friends and family or their business associates. So it's really building relationships in order to survive in this sort of business. Social media is great. As Omar is really great at it. I'm always watching his videos and very envious of it because I don't have that kind of time.
We got maid kids, and I don't have time. You think I have time for this?
No, I know you don't.
Well, you know what? I'm doing it so other people can see, like, hey, I'm bringing some more value, bringing people that actually can make a difference. Have a co-host like JP, which is like a rookie, being 3, 4 years in the business, me 21 years in the business. So now we can bounce ideas off of each other, and it's going to help somebody else that's listening to us right now that will probably make an impact for that. And that's literally why I do it, and I create content.
Contact, that's important. Is seeing your face. It constantly reminds me.
So you see my face all the time?
Yes, I see your face, and then I remember, Omar needs to pay this bill.
Yes. You should see the inbox that the team always says to me, Omar, pay. I'm like, can you just have a fucking auto pay, please? Somebody? No, trust me. Oh, no, that card just expired. Okay, well, here's another one. Oh, we're about to cancel you yesterday. Oh, well, no. Well, backdated or whatever it is. And then here's the bill. Because, bro, it's hard to manage all of these properties. And this is why it's like, I don't want to manage it. I want them to take care of it. And this is what...
Well, they do. You just got to pay them to do it.
Well, no, I did it out to set percentages.
Sometimes when he would rather not hear from me, he hears from me.
Oh, no, seriously. It's like...
Or they'll tell me if they can't get a hold of him, and then I am like...
Seriously, I don't want to deal with not saying the team, but if there's something that's super important.
Just so
sure. Of course, that's like stuff going on. And then when Amber calls, it's like, oh, shit, what did I... Like, okay. And then we spend like 30 minutes on the phone going through, okay, what about this property? Is it owner occupied? Is it vacant? Is it rented? What are you doing with it? You flipping it? What's up? And it's like, do we really have to go? And I literally, it's at the worst time, but we got to go do it. So, but
I want to take it back a little bit. You mentioned you were, in a sense, kind of fell into the insurance business with what your mother has built. And I'm assuming that she was already working with a lot of investors already, right?
Yes.
Through the network that she's built. Take us back a little bit. Is like this network that you've been able to kind of carry, is this something that your family has just done a good job of doing? Or is this something that you continue to make sure that you're meeting new people, getting in front of new faces, shaking new hands, and letting them know what you have to offer?
When I took over, I definitely hit the ground running. I had to go out. I had to cold call. I had to door knock. It was brutal, but I knew if we were going to survive and continue going, I want to be able to hand my business down to my daughters.
that's cool.
And that's my plan. I have 3 of them, so I'm hoping at least one of them will love the insurance industry as much as I do.
30% chance. Run.
Trying to get there.
That's
But, it definitely was hard at first, and I hit the ground running for probably a good, I would say, 2 years nonstop. I had my 2 toddlers working nights and weekends. It was blood, sweat, and tears. And I would say probably at the 3-4 year mark, I finally felt, okay, I can get there, started hiring an employee to help me out so that I could go in.
During so like what kept you around?
I would say my daughters. My reasons. Bigger reasons. I wanted them to, look up to me someday and see what I did, and basically built an empire for them to take over, and I hope that they can take it further than I can. That's it. I have 3. I have a 16, which is right about when I met Omar, and I have a 13-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Handful.
They are handfuls in there.
16, 14, or 16, 13, and a
4. That's like the most, I guess you would say, intrusive years for any, child growing up.
Yes.
Because they just became a teenager, and now 16, they could drive.
Yes.
And like 4, they're like, becoming a lot more smarter. So
Yeah.
That's interesting. You did mention you want to eventually pass it on to your daughters. This is kind of like a little bit of a different conversation, but you're a business owner, so I'm sure you can relate to it. One thing that I hear a lot of entrepreneurs and just people that I talk to, and even just hear Omar talk a lot, is when they do have children, it's like a hard battle of accepting that this might not be passed on just because they might not care for it.
Yeah.
How do you let your kids know that you are working on something that you care a lot about, that means a lot to you, and it's done a lot for your current family? How do you involve them in your business?
I mean, they see every day. They see me. I eat, breathe, and sleep. My business and insurance.
What do we say? Eat and shit and sleep, real estate. If you guys are listening, I always say it to everybody. You just said the same thing, but in insurance, which is freaking awesome.
That's funny.
Go ahead, sorry, took control.
So it's just involving them more.
Yeah, they see every day. They see the work that I put in. They see, the love that I have for the business, for my employees. And I think that, over time, they will see that and hopefully want the same things. I hope.
Yeah. That's all you can do is hope, right?
Yeah. That's good.
What it comes down to, I guess you could say, to just Because you've been in the business for how many years? You said?
About 16, 17. Yeah.
Okay. Look, how long do you predict to still be in this?
I mean, I hope to be in it forever. We have so far, we've rolled with the punches. We've faced a lot of different obstacles over the last 20 years in insurance. We've had growing pains. We have survived a lot of the things that they're throwing at us. So I hope to continue to grow and be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, for sure. Because after a while, like you sit in a career or in a type of field for a long period of time, you will become successful over time. Now, my question to you is, let's talk about some numbers, because I want to know, and I think everybody else that's listening wants to know too, how many people or how many policies what's your database look like in insurance? Like, how many people do you have renewing, or at any given time was the highest amount of policies that you've had issued in a, I don't know, call it a 24-month period or 12-month period? Because this is what I want to know too. Like, how long does it take to get to a good number to where you're like, it's covering the bills, it's covering this, I can make some profit. Now I can go and buy some real estate, or I can call Omar and say, hey, do you have any properties I can participate in? Because the conversations that we've had plenty of times, and to create obviously more money on your money. So what's something that or how many policies are you at right now, if you don't mind sharing?
Or how many monies did you make?
This damn money.
So as far as our investment side of things, we have over 300 investors. They range from, like I said, we go from start to finish. We can take anywhere. We start them off at one, like Omar started off.
At one.
And we have some investors that have over 300 homes.
Invested in California or outside?
California. Well, we write in multiple states, but mainly it's California. And then what's happening right now is my California investors, because it is a hard market, they're buying out of state.
So the question I have is, because he said out of those, like, let's just say 300 investors, there's probably one investor that, or more than one investor that owns multiple doors.
Yes.
How many doors would you say you insure?
That's our question. For just 300 investors, not the individuals, but just
The investors, so like I said, their portfolios range anywhere from 1 to 300.
Let's say 5,000 doors, you think?
Yeah, or more.
That's insane.
Think about that. 5,000 doors times, just say 5,000 doors times a policy of $1,000. And the investments side were a little, cheaper than that or less expensive than that. But still, that's a lot of revenue coming in. Insurance premiums, I should say.
Yes, so sometimes, investors are buying and flipping.
Oh, yeah, so it's quick and easy.
Yeah, it's very cool. I have one investor, and he is literally flipping. He's buying, flipping, and selling within 60 days. So on those sort of deals, we don't really make a whole lot of money because they're only paying for their prorated premium, which means from the time that he buys it and we add it to his policy to the time he sells it. So if it's 60 days, you figure if it was, $600 or $1,000 and we're only making a certain percentage off of it,
So
we're not making too much.
the buy and fix up like what we do when you add to the to the policy.
Yeah.
And then it's sold. Sorry. Dang, for it. So it's sold after 3 or 4 months, and then whatever the amount is of 3 or 4 we call months, whatever that premium is, what's $600, $700 at times.
Yeah, but you telling that by
If you're,
So many.
yeah, so if you're only, doing the prorated premium on that, let's just say you're only paying $400 because you only owned it for 4 months, and then we come in and we're only making the 10%. That's $40. So really, you have to have quite a bit of, clientele and just, properties to be able to write in order to make a decent amount of money. Plus, if they're not planning on paying having employees and whatnot and overhead, we have a dedicated team for the investment side of things. So obviously, we have a couple people in place that are a part of that overhead, and then we do everything. So we also have the regular property homeowner side, and just some people that aren't investing.
And that's bringing another point. What are you right now excited about in the insurance field that you can see happening over the next couple of years? Let's just say 3 years. Like, what is something that you're getting motivated to like hit another like avenue, or create more investors in your database, or that actually pay? Would you rather have, good question, would you rather have regular insurance, like individuals that buy a house that automatically renew every single year, they own it for 3 or 4 years, or would you rather have more investors coming in and out? And how much can you scale? What's easier to scale, the homeowner or the investor? And with all that, what do you plan on doing on the increase of, of policies? Are you going to reinvest yourself? Because we haven't even talked about, she does own some real estate too, which is even better. So, let's talk about that. Like, what are you excited about, like in the future, in the next 36 months?
Well, like I said, the insurance market's a little tough right now. So I'm hoping that starts to get better. And I'm hoping to be able to retain both investors and, your average homeowner. If you can write their homeowners and their auto. There's also, maybe they have toys, recreational vehicles and whatnot. For every one policy you get on the books, if you can cross-sell and get a secondary policy, the average of them staying with you is going to be higher.
For sure.
The percentage, I'm sorry, not average, is going to be higher because you have, you take care of more than one line of business for them.
Right.
It's hard to say would I prefer this over this, because we do have two sides of the business.
True.
And so I like it all.
Okay. Good answer.
I want to be able to help everybody.
Right.
And I'm just hoping over the next few years, things settle down. As you know, there's the whole difference in conditions policy, which we have a way around, which has saved you quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit, for sure. We won't get into it, but
Yes. So basically any obstacles are out there. Like I said, we learn to roll with the punches and we figure out solutions. We try to stay ahead of the curve so that it doesn't snowball.
Okay. So check this out. Now that you have all of these policies, these investors, does it not want you to go and does it not, I'm sure you see it, you insure it, you know what people are doing. Does it not want to make you go buy more real estate? Since we're all doing it?
Yes, my husband told me no. Why? I think he thinks that it's going to come down just a little bit. And, following your advice is where Mike Arias's advice, I think it's going to come down just a little bit, but not enough to where we're going to be able to what you were doing 16 years ago.
It's not going to be, 2009 prices. If it ever hit 2009 prices, I think we just got bombed by somebody, and real estate's done. Because there has to be some type of financial crisis that no one can afford any more houses. And at that point, everybody lost their jobs, and this is why there were houses being sold for $30 a square foot.
Yeah.
Just in 2008, 2009, 2010.
And with so much money being out in the market, inflation is crazy, So it wouldn't make sense, I think, for real estate to drop that much.
If it did, we have larger problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a fish to fry.
There's we're at war with somebody.
It's funny. My mom bought a house in 2014 or 15. It's over 3,000 square foot in a suburban neighborhood. We got it for $270.
Right.
Already was on the market for 40 days. This morning, my uncle actually wanted to see a house that's across the street from the house that we already own. No upgrades, no nothing. And it's listed at a fair market price. If you look at all the other houses, it's actually listed below the list price, but even that house is listed at $529. My mom bought the same exact house 7 years ago for $270. So
Double.
it's just it's really not going to fall 50% how we were wanted to, but
We do and we don't.
It's so true. Benefit.
I would want to, but then all my other properties that we invested in just lost 50%. So it doesn't, I think it happens the way it's supposed to.
Or I think it's a matter of like, a conversation that maybe your husband can have is like, not necessarily wait for the market to change, but like, how do we just put ourselves in front of more opportunities? Because, Omar's still buying. We just got 2 deals locked up last week under contract, one in Oak Hills, one in Hellendale.
She's doing the insurance on it.
Oh, perfect. So there you go. So yeah, those, we're buying. So I'm sure it's a matter of just like placing yourself in front of those opportunities versus like waiting for the right time.
Yeah, definitely. We do have, we did an Airbnb.
Oh, that's cool.
And there was some headaches with that as well. But we also are doing the snowbird things. That's awesome. It's in Havasu. So I do enjoy it. We've had plenty of conversations, and I definitely would love to get more into it. But at this time, we both have full-time jobs doing other things. So I think that that's just a conversation that we definitely need to have. And I think he should have a conversation with you.
Yeah, definitely, because he would end up understanding it a little bit more. So that's something that, we need to plan and do, because it doesn't make sense. And this for everyone is listening. Anything that you do in your business, and, some people may not like to invest, but when you invest your money that you make, you increase your earned income and you invest it in real estate, it'll multiply over time. Sitting in a bank account, it does not multiply. If anything, with inflation, you reduce the amount of worth that dollar's worth because of inflation. So it's like you gotta have to go and invest it to make sure that like at least you stay even. Because if you don't touch it, you're gonna be negative on what you already have in your account. Not necessarily negative, but it's not gonna be worth as much. So this is why, increase your earned income, invest it into some real estate. And if you don't want to be the landlord, because the real landlord sucks at times. I'm going to tell you this, and you guys follow me, and you guys see that we're evicting somebody. We're going somewhere else. We're going today to another property that I just got keys to, and they signed a year lease. I let them out of it. They were, they were paid, but then now, oh, by the way, there was a windstorm, and the tree knocked down the power line to the house. And I just got a picture today, and it's like, oh, this is great. So it's severed, so there's no power to the house now. It's a good thing that nobody's there, but guess what? I got to call Edison and all this other stuff. So being a landlord does kind of suck at times, but overall, it's doing pretty good. But there's also another way that you're able to, and this is for everybody that's listening to, use your money, find someone that's in your market that is flipping or buying and holding, and use that money to help them go and purchase property, and then you create a great return on the money. So it's still better than just sitting in your bank account and it's secured by an asset, which is pretty cool. So that's something that, that we need to talk for sure.
Yeah. Perfect example how I think how I can put that into words is let's just say I have a killer month. I made $30,000 in commissions. I can either put 15, 20 grand in my bank, or I can simply get 15, 20 grand, plug it into one of Omar's property. And there's a system that he already has in place to be able to earn some interest on my money. Because essentially, what you said earlier, if your money's not multiplying, it's dying. I do want to go back to one insurance question that I think a lot of people can appreciate. What should a new agent look for in a brokerage when they want to join a brokerage? What are some key, let's just say they interviewed 5 different brokerages. Out of those 5, what are 3 things that should stand out?
Are you talking about a client or someone that wants to get into it?
Someone that wants to get into insurance to create that income for themselves.
I would definitely look at what kind of knowledge they have.
Who's running the ship, first of all?
Yes,
Definitely. How long they've been in the business.
Yeah, experience, knowledge.
Things along the lines of credibility.
Yeah, reputation.
Okay, interesting. And then this sparked a question because Omar mentioned something about you have different types of clients. You have the investor that's constantly turning his money, and then you have the average homeowner that's going to stay at the house, renew their insurance policy every single year. What's the difference between the types of marketing that you have to do to attract that different type of client? Like, what is, because obviously, both sides of the spectrum, there's a conversation that you have in place, a relationship that you develop. But I'm sure a conversation with an investor is much different than a family that's just living there for 15, 20 years. So how do you defer how you're going to attract that certain type of client?
Well, because we have two different sides of the business, we have two different teams. We'll deal with that side of things. And I would say it's really the same idea. We just discuss different things. We ask different questions. And then it's obviously quoted differently.
Yeah, it's like, because I expand real estate group and then we have 60-man cash offer. Right. Same message, same idea, but different ways of.
That, and it's like the commercial side of it, plus the residential. And here, our policies are a little different.
Yeah.
Average vertical coverage, deductibles are different. I mean, they can go on and out. It's like another rabbit hole to talk about insurance and all the fine play. I just sign it and let's go and just create more, and that's it. Just don't get them in the.
The only real thing you're able to sign it though is because you have a great insurance agent.
Yeah, it's exactly true. I don't. Where do I?
And I tell Omar, I'm like, I just need to know what you're doing so I can make sure I insure you.
What do I tell you I'm doing? What do I tell you I'm doing?
He'll do surprise ADUs every now and then.
That's honestly awesome, because there's probably times where Omar lets you know what he's doing, and let's just say he does have a policy in place that he wants to move forward with, but he probably doesn't have that knowledge of like, no, Omar, you actually don't need this policy. You'll probably be better off with this one because of what are you doing. So it's cool that he gives you that trust to where you're able to just, make that initiative and make that decision, because, it's ultimately going to save you money.
I tell him what he needs. He doesn't always want it.
And then that's it. And this is the thing. So being in this business for such a long time, I'm having people come on, and we're having professionals in their fields come on and give you some, pointers on what to do next. So, this journey of investing could not be done without, the help of Amber and Vineyard Insurance. And, I wanted you on here to like let everybody know like what you do and everything else.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was just going to say, where can people find you? Your social, go ahead and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. The phone number is 760-248-6506. We are local in the high desert. We are licensed in multiple states, but we're right off of Highway 18 in Outdoor Valley. We have Instagram and Facebook. Just look up Vineyard Insurance and you should be able to find it.
That's freaking awesome. So this, guys, if you're not following her, follow her. If you're not following Vineyard Insurance, follow them there, because they will help you. They will guide you. If you're an agent and you need someone, one of your buyers, to go find a insurance because they're buying a house, call Vineyard. If you're an investor that has multiple properties and you need to, make some extra cash, because not physically, but at least not paying an insurance broker more money, because there's different kind of policies when you have multiple doors, go see her, because she's absolutely killing it. And I couldn't do what I'm doing now as fast as we're doing it without her, because the last thing I want to do is figure out what's the better rate for insurance policies when I can just go to her. She's going to do it for me, or the team's going to do it for us and handle it. So again, we want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know this was your first time, and it's cool. You killed it. You let everybody know what's going on. And yeah, that's
I appreciate it.
have kisses fun. All right, guys. So that's it. Stay tuned for our next episode. And again, we're going to bring more value. Make sure you click that button right there. Subscribe to our podcast. It'll be on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts here really soon. So just be looking out for that. So guys, until the next episode, this is Omar out and
JB, follow me on Instagram.
let's go. Bye, guys.